I believe Andy Reid was a big fan of yours way back when,
Yeah.
before you were even drafted. So when it was clear the time was coming to an end with the 49ers, how much did you wonder if the stars would align?
Yeah, I didn't know. You don't know. I did feel like a little bit I did make my peace with the Bay Area. You know, and when Coach Harbaugh came in, and we did have a couple years of success there, and you know, went to the NFC Championship game, and then the next year obviously played a good chunk of that season, and then to go to the Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I knew a little bit on the trading block. And then again, right, like you don't necessarily have total control at that point, right? I'm not necessarily going to get to pick where I end up. And as like the possibilities kind of became apparent, you know, and Coach Reid had come here to Kansas City and taken this job, and then I knew that this was a potential landing spot. Yeah, you're just hoping for it, right? I'm like, man, I hope this works out. Oh yeah, at that point, very, very hopeful that this was the place I could, if this was possible, could this, you know, end up. And
Why?
for a lot of reasons. I think for one, I've always from afar been a fan of Coach Reid's, right? I mean, I think I just looked at a lot of the quarterbacks that had played with him over the years. At that point, obviously a long time with Donovan, but a lot of guys in between, you know. I remember like Coy Detmer playing there, and Jeff Garcia, and Michael Vick, and all these guys playing and having success. And you know, and him finding a way to get it done with guys with different skill sets. You know, and so was a fan of that. And then obviously I looked, you know, here at Kansas City and the roster and the team, and everything looked like it was on the up. And so I wanted to be a part of it, and was fortunate that it worked out.
How much was there almost a shared feeling between the two of you that each of you were going to help revive the other one's career?
Yeah.
Or is that just more media?
No, you know, I don't know if it was something that, I mean, it definitely was there, right? Both of us a little discarded, I guess. You know, certainly he'd had a long run of success at Philadelphia, one of the longest tenured guys before that. So that was a little different. But yeah, at that point, a little discarded. But I think it, you know, in both, yeah, ready to prove everybody wrong. But he and I probably weren't the only two. I mean, there were a lot of people here that had been here, I think, with the same mentality, that were ready to prove everybody wrong. But yeah, it was, I think we all shared that. We all had that, like, chip. I think that's healthy.
You were actually a fan of Alex's before he was ever even drafted. What got you interested in him in the first place?
One of my college teammates, Kyle Whittingham, was the defensive coordinator at University of Utah. And he and I talked often, and I said, man, this quarterback you got is really something. He goes, oh, no, he's the best. And he's even a better person when you get to know him. He's the hardest worker we got. So I studied him a little bit when he came out, and then kind of followed him through his career. For whatever reason, when I was at the Eagles, we had a bunch of games against them. So I got to see the maturation process that took place with him through his early part of his career. And liked what I saw. You know, who knew that you were going to get him? But
what was it that you saw, though, early on, before you ever even thought there was a chance you could get him?
Yeah, listen, I thought his short intermediate game fit what we do accuracy-wise, and I knew he was a smart kid coming out. So you need to be that in this offense. And then he had enough long ball where he could be deadly with that too. So. But the mind was really what kind of caught your attention.
In what way?
Well, just that he could do so much at the line of scrimmage, and Urban, he had to learn that offense, and Urban just thought the world of him, and still does, and just said, this guy is able to digest anything you throw at him. Anything at the line of scrimmage he can do. If you're asking him to change plays, whether it's pass to run, run to pass, if you want to give him 3 plays in the huddle and let him move around, or from the sideline and let him move around and make that call, he can do that. He can do all your blitz adjustments and protection rules and adjustments at the line. He makes everybody around him better, which is one of those ding ding. Hey, that's a positive thing for a quarterback. That's what the great ones do. So.
How aware were you how much Alex was hoping to be coached by you once he found out you were going to Kansas City?
Well, we had kind of mutual people that we knew, and I knew he wanted to change. He knew I was going to Kansas City. I mean, he saw that, and I'm sure he thought it, and I know I was thinking it. So we needed a change of quarterback. Not that the quarterback that we had wasn't good. That wasn't the problem. He needed a change too.
Right.
And so just like Alex did, and so it worked out, I think, for both parties.
He acknowledged that he felt there was actually a shared feeling between the two of you, that you were each almost going to try and revive one another's career because, in his words, you each felt a little discarded. To what extent was there any truth to that in your mind?
The door hit us in the rear end, and we got kicked out. We got kicked out of the room. No, I guess that's true.
I mean, did you feel that at all,
this
or
is what
not
I think
really?
both of us love football, and both of us want to do good, and so that's probably, the thing that we had in common when it was all said and done. That we got, but that happens in this business. Yeah, they booted us, but hey, let's go, let's roll, man. Let's be ourselves and roll, and he's done a great job with that.
So you've given Alex more pre-play control. Explain what that means.
Yeah, so when you're a parent, you give the kid the keys to the car. There's a certain amount of trust that goes there. You've already gone through the driver's training where you've just cringed and gone, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? And then you get to the point where you go, hey, see you at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Be safe. So that's kind of what you do with a quarterback. You teach them, and they start off where you got to kind of feed them, and you're controlling most of the action there as far as what freedom they have at the line of scrimmage to change plays. And then they just get to a point where you go, you know what, he's got the keys to the car. And the longer they go, it goes from a beat up 60s model to, I don't want to name anything. I said, I'm not going to name a car. We're not going to get in trouble. So, and then pretty soon you're driving the Rolls Royce. Yeah. And so he's at that point in his career now. So he's got the keys to the Rolls Royce, and whatever he needs to do at the line of scrimmage, he has answers for that. So he's got the keys to not only the car, but the big car.
He said that was tough for you, and that it was uncomfortable for you at first doing that because that was kind of new to you in a way. How true is that?
Yeah, so I had done that with other quarterbacks, but just a small amount, and nothing to the extent that we did with Alex. So,
how is it different with Alex?
Well, it's just kind of how we evolve. So I went back and I wanted to make sure we were giving Alex the things that I thought he was best at and most familiar with, and most of all what he thought was best. And so we dove back in really into his college playbook and some of the spread offense, and it had become relatively popular at the college level and was working its way into the NFL. And so we brought some of that stuff back, and we talked through it and allowed him to be a participant in the conversation of what you think you can get done at the line of scrimmage with this. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. Then we took it to the next level and the next level, and now he's very comfortable just with situations there. But it's a trust thing that develops over time.
He's given you more pre-play control. What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that as my career went on through all the coordinators and coaches and things and systems, I think one of the benefits was, I learned a lot of football and enjoyed and I really felt like it was a strength of mine as the years went on, that I was capable of doing more at the line of scrimmage and handling more. And that wasn't necessarily the world he'd come from. And so when we meshed, I was a little more vocal about it. Like, hey, I mean, I can do more here. Like, give me more. I want more. I want more responsibility. Can't we also do this? Or can we add this?
What did he say?
And I'll make it right. Yeah, it was uncomfortable for him at first.
Why?
I think just because he wasn't used to it, right? It wasn't the world he had come from. He wasn't used to that. And I think it was something, a little bit as I asked for, and kind of you have to earn a little bit, right? You have to earn that kind of control, independence, like trust, that I had to earn that for him to give me more and more. And so, there were times it went better than others, and that I got more of it. And there'd be a revert back sometimes. But yeah, like that's been fun. It's been a fun give and take, he and I. And now, gosh, going on year 5, it's come a long way, and we still joke a lot and go back and forth. And Coach has such a great sense of humor. You know, the keys to the car is what he calls them. You know, and as I get more keys to the car and more control, and him a little less.